G'day YouTube, it's September 2021 and it is preparedness month. So what I'm going to be doing is doing a review of my current get home bag and kit and systems. And I'm actually going to be doing quite a lot of work to revise it this year because over COVID obviously lots of things have changed and so my scenario has changed. So let's have a go. So let's start with a general overview of my boot area. So my car is electric. So that means that not only do I have the main boot area, I also underneath here have a storage compartment which stores my get home bag. But what I do have in the boot that you can see here is a couple of things that are worth of note. So this little bag here, this is actually a secondary bag, mostly full of food and some cooking gear. Basically its existence is I normally have multiple people in my car whenever I'm going somewhere. So if I need to stay with the get home bag, it's usually 2 or more people for 3 or more days. So I actually have to have a substantial amount of food. And so what I've done with this little bag is I've set it up so that it's got the primary things we need to do if we're camping at the car still. A couple of ponchos and food and some cooking gear and some matches. Alright, what else do I have? So in the middle you have emergency kit, so first aid full kit including a trauma kit. On the outside there I've got an Israeli bandage and multi-tool, so you'll see that close up in a minute. So this is something that I do that I don't see other people doing. In this box here is the starting kits. So I have, if my hat there is attached to it is a bunch of stuff I need to start. Set of gloves, a face mask, hat, little light, multi-tool, pocket knife and things. Also in that bag is, you can see an emergency poncho, a couple of plastic bags, and some 1.5 litre and 600ml bottles in case I need to have a starting kit. But predominantly if I had to get away from the car quickly, I'd be grabbing this bag, the starter kit from the hat, and the stuff that's underneath, which you'll see in a moment. So opening this area up here, you can see it's chock full of stuff. I have a blanket here on top, mostly so that it fills in the gaps, stops it from moving, but also so that if you're needing to sleep in the car, you've got a blanket handy. If you're needing it for a trauma, you've got a blanket handy. So you'll see this get home bag and you'll notice that it's massive. There's a couple of things that I've done with this bag that are different to normal. So inside this bag is another bag, which is the one I'll probably be carrying, but there's a lot of additional supplies, like an EMP bag for example is in here with a bunch of radio gear and things. And this particular pack has an extra benefit that I can actually undo the top of it and look in and pull things from it without even removing the whole bag from the car. So what I'll do is I'll get this stuff out, grab it up, take it upstairs and go through it. Alright, so let's get into my main bag. So this is a used bag that I got. It's very, very feature rich and it's some things that I would recommend people look for. So because I got it from a discount shop, it was like $15 Australian, so next to nothing. One of the features I mostly like about it is it can open from the top. You can use it more like a duffel bag. It comes with like a pack cover and things so that you can cover it if it's raining and if you're needing to use it. It does have some metal back supports in the back of it, which I pull out to make it fit in that gap in the boot. But otherwise, it's a fully featured backpack, fully compatible, and I really like it. So let's just get into what I do differently to other people. So my system is designed around multiple people. So what I use, so inside my pack here, I have my primary get home bag, which is just me. If I needed to right now, I could just grab this and go, right, and ditch all the rest of this stuff. But I've designed my system in such a way that that's not what I want to do. So we'll start with a couple of these loose pouches. So I'm a webbing person, so attaching these to belts and things if you need to, and if you've got multiple people, lets you split up the rolls. So this first bag is a boo-boo kit. The idea is that you might need this straight away, which is why it's loosened on the outside. So in here I have a poncho. So this poncho is actually a reflection poncho. So it's camo on the outside and reflective on the inside. Great product, I love them. A couple of heat packs, medical kit, some Vaseline and a couple of other boo-boo items there. Some big advanced pads. All right. This one is one thing that I also do differently than everyone else. So this is what I call a start bag. So in this I have everything I need to put into my pockets and get started. Right. So for example, I can then put water bottles or whatever I need, or like extra things that are floating around in there. So I've got utensil, a tactor pen, a good set of goggles, some boosters for for a drink, a fairly average compass and torch, a knife, set of batteries and a torch, and things that are fairly important like error guard, ibuprofen, because if you're going to be hiking a lot, you're going to need that. Hand sanitizer, some cash, and dog tags. I don't see people with dog tags as much as I should. So those people, the idea is that if someone does find your body at some point, they will know who you are. And your next of kin is more likely to get notified if they have your details. Alright, loose items. I have a good set of warm gloves, a better compass that has torch and illumination that you can use for bearings and things, as well as I've kept the instructions with it just in case my wife or someone else needs to use it. Bottle of water. So this kit doesn't contain much water, though it's got filtration stuff. The idea is that if I'm needing to grab this whole bag and go, it's easy enough. Power bank, everyone's got one of those. Most people don't have a trowel, which confuses me, because if you're going to be out there and you need to do your business on your walk home, you need to have a trowel, and this just happens to also have some extra cordage, as well as a ruler and a saw and a blade. But it's one of those necessary things. And a set of binoculars. So these will all fit obviously into that pouch once I've emptied the contents into my pocket. And this is stuff that I might also need more rapidly if I'm just opening up the boot of my car to get something. Alright, and so yeah, the Shamag, million uses for that. And I keep the Shamag document, which contains a whole bunch of different ways to use them, just again in case my wife or someone else needs to use it. She can. This is a fairly typical get home bag. I think I'll give it its own little video. So I'll put that off to a side. I keep nothing in this top area, mostly because it's to get it to fit into the boot areas there. I couldn't put anything in there, but it does contain the pack cover. So the bottom section of this bag is where I do things differently as well. So others might be able to get some ideas from this. So the bottom section of this bag, I keep a small bag of extras, right? So this extra kit contains things that I know I have multiple of and enough resiliency, but if I'm with someone else and they're going to need to walk home themselves, I can give them this and know that I'm not lacking. And it's things like a map, some details like an extra pair of socks, a poncho that's got the silver reflective, a torch, a regular poncho, and some goggles. So just some things that will make their walk back easier. Also got some extra toilet paper and a lighter in here as well. And a spare poncho and reflector just in case. It's always good to have extra of that stuff considering it would fit in. Because I'd already opened up my bag, I forgot to show you this one. So at the top of my bag I keep a document bag which it contains some photos of me and my wife and her family and my family, just in case we need to. But this is one thing that I noticed that no one else really keeps. So this is a document that keeps all of the UHF radio channels, their frequencies, their modulations, what channels things can use, what the phone numbers are, what the air traffic control towers and things are, and working through what repeater channels are available. Because if you need to use someone else's radio and you don't have the internet to look this stuff up, you're going to be in trouble. The other thing I have is a printout on the instructions for how to make hardtack and how to make matzo. Even if I can't use this myself, it's something that you can trade for. So there's 2 copies of both, so you can rip it out and use both. And I keep them in a couple of Glad bags just to double check. This bottom bag is something that I also do differently than most other people. Again, it's a bag in its own right, so you can sling it over your shoulder and carry it if you needed to ditch it. But the biggest threat that I'm concerned about with my vehicle is an EMP. So the stuff in here is the things that I need to protect from an EMP, which would be why I'm stranded in the first place. So open up this little EMP bag. Everything obviously individually wrapped as well. So what do I have in here? I have some radios, Baofeng chargers, batteries, an adapter in case you're coming across some foreign stuff that you might need to charge, or if you need to trading with someone, you can trade. For example, I've got a little solar panel and stuff in here, and so I can use this to trade and charge someone else's equipment. In here I have an old emergency radio. I'm trading this out for a newer one, shortwave radio, and a battery pack which has torch built into it and is still at 100% charge, so that's good. I also have 2 spare mobile phones in that pack. So these mobile phones are preloaded with a bunch of prepping gear, prepping apps and maps and things. Again, keeping them inside the EMP bag to protect them. So the idea is that on those phones, I've got the entire Encyclopedia Britannica that I can use or trade. I've got heaps and heaps of information, and they're phones, right? It's a phone. If any of the cell tower network exists still, if the EMP was big enough, probably not, but you can use these to communicate, Wi-Fi, apps, all that sort of stuff. Alright, so that does it for the main organizer bag. Alright, sorry, that's the main bag done. Let's move on to the sub bag. So, sub bag, here's for the headlamps and things. I have some cordage just wrapped around the entry point. Keep some cash into the top pocket for easy access. This is a fairly standard designed bag, so I'm just going to go through it really quickly. Garbage bags. A mostly empty front pocket for the carry-on stuff if I needed room. Alright, solar panel, fold out solar panel to charge and do things with. This should be resistant in an EMP. And I've got a little compass attached to it. I'm thinking about moving this to the EMP case anyway. Again, webbing pouches so that I can use and move this into different systems and onto the belt. Water kit with a Sawyer Mini. Now with the Sawyer Mini, make sure you buy a different one to test than the one that you're going to keep in your kit. They have issues where once you've used them once, they can no longer be frozen. And if you're going to keep them in your car and it gets frozen at some point, and the other thing I have there is a hydration, a bladder pack, so a bladder. These are essentially fire lighters. Definitely recommend having fire lighters. I'm lazy, they're not heavy, they work, you can use them for cooking and stuff too. A metal cup for cooking and a beanie for some warmth. Again, another pack that I can then attach to a belt if I need to. If this entire pack dies, you know, you've got a sub pack, or if you need to split things between multiple people, makes it easy. Alright, poncho, camo poncho. Hygiene bag, fairly standard. It's got some wipes, survival book, face masks, change of socks, toothbrush. Don't underestimate a toothbrush. Floss, toothpaste, some gloves, some toilet paper I think in there too. More garbage bags. Fire tools. So the only different thing I have in my fire tools is this. I've also got a map in the fire tools because that's where it fit, and a compass. So this is the only other thing I've got that's different. So instead of using a normal Bic lighter, I've got one of these, which is an electric lighter. So that will charge from the solar panel and from the kit. Don't have to worry about it ever leaking and going on, and obviously it's got a bit of a head on it. You can use it for multiple things. Fairly standard. Some extra parts from a survival kit, ferro rod. I've included a bicycle tube repair kit in my kit because I know that I'll be walking a long way, which means that I'm going to try and take a bicycle, and I will most likely get a bit flat along the way if there's rubble and things around. A set of food, fairly common. I'm going to be going through this now. Only extra things I think I've got in here is some sugars. So ration pack, muesli bar, Twiggy stick, pre-done rice. So combination of snacks to get your calories and get on, and the extra sugars to put into water and things. One of the tricks I've learnt is if they've got things that don't have the expiry date on them, for example in the muesli bars, I've included the slip that's got the muesli bars expiry date, so that way I know that I have until November this year to consume them, which is why I'm doing this now, because I knew that this stuff was coming up. Alright, that's that for that little bag. I don't think there's anything else down the bottom. Alright, so in the back pouch of this bag I have a folding saw, and in this final pouch I have another one of my differences. So I have two more sets of food bags, slightly different. Sugars, this one's got chocolate in it as well. It's a type of rice and things that I have. And I've included this tray, not armor or anything, it is a baking tray, but if you are cooking food you can then put this on top of a fire. It helps keep the sharp things in your back from sticking into you. It's super light. It won't stop anything ballistically, but the thing that you'll miss when you're out on the field is metal, and having something metal to, you know, protect from rocks. Maybe you could probably improvise something, but I've mostly found that it'll keep your back cool and it'll keep your other items more protected. One of the things I'm doing differently in this kit revision is I am putting all of my food into odor-proof bags. So some hikers have issues with animals eating their food, and my dad actually had an issue with rats getting into his car and eating through the back of his car and getting into his stuff. So having the stuff in an odor-proof bag will reduce the chance that you'll get animals in your car eating stuff. And if you don't look at it very often, like for me it's in a sub part of my trunk, I won't be able to see that bad things have happened to my food supplies. Alright, so that's it for the second bag. Alright, so very quickly, my start kit. This is what I've got on the back of the boot of the car, ready at a moment's notice. I have a poncho, mechanics gloves, a hat with a lamp. So this is just a hat clip. It's quite good actually, that you can put it in your pockets and things and use it. Multicolors, rechargeable, nice and easy. And rather than having a headband, because I'll be wearing a cap at night anyway, just because to keep your head warm. A bunch of carabiners holding things on. I always forget sunscreen. So I've got this in my start kit, so that when I start moving, I'll put on sunscreen. Alright. And finally with the kit is my extras bag. So this is just a bum bag, and you'll notice that it's got the wide straps on it to use for the webbing system. So if I needed to, around the waist, with the extra packs and things, making it go out. So in here, some cleaning scrubs. Alright, so I use these fuel stoves for my kits, because A, you can use the little tablets to light fires. The metal stove, can be used in multiple different configurations, and it's safe to have in my car basically. I'm not worried if it was a gas canister of it leaking or causing other dramas. It's got to be pretty bad for that to have a fire in my car. Two more of those camo ponchos with reflective innards. A whole bunch of foods and cans. So the idea is that this solid fuel stove, I can fold the tops inwards, and then you can put the can on top, pull tops. Another set of garbage bags. And then this is just misc foods, chocolate, matches, rices, energy bars, basically if we were the idea with this food kit is that if I was broken down on the side of the road and it wasn't a disaster, I could use this kit to you know, keep me going, keep my passengers entertained and fed. There was a reason I put in these dog clips and I cannot remember what it was. Tea, very important to have tea. And notebook and pen, zip ties. Alright, and I'm not going to go through this. This is an off-the-shelf medical kit with a couple of my additions. Alright, so trauma kit, trauma bandage, a rescue me attached to the outside to cut seat belts, break windows, a Gerber dime which is different to most because it has proper scissors in it that you can use on a carabiner. And this is basically a full-blown trauma kit. This one comes from TACMed. And has a tourniquet. I've got it all sealed up. I think it's very unlikely that I'll come across a trauma case where I need it. But again, where seconds matter, I can use just normal pressure and a trauma bandage to get in. It's a full, pretty decent kit from TACMed. And that concludes my current bag, and doesn't include the things that I'm redesigning for the new bag, which will be a future video. Thank you for watching. G'day YouTube, it is September 2021 and it's the month of preparedness. Let's start again. G'day YouTube, it is September 2021 and this is preparedness month, and I'm getting a phone call.